Hello ratbags, it's Jade. Welcome to Subnautica PlayStation 4 guide. With it being offered for free to all PlayStation owners, I thought I'd maybe revisit my favourite survival game. And today I'm going to show you guys exactly where to get diamonds. 3 locations that are fairly simple and different stages of where you might be with equipment. So you'll definitely be able to get some diamonds if you really want to start getting the cutter as well as making a whole host of other stuff. There are of course more locations you'll get diamonds, but I find these 3 the most simplest and easiest to explain. So please make sure you leave a like if you enjoy the content. Check out the rest of the Subnautica PlayStation guides I've done explicitly for it going free to play, and let me take you through the best way to get bling. So for this one you don't need anything else other than maybe a rebreather, although it would be good to have obviously a CMOF as well. But it is totally doable even without the CMOF. If you don't have the CMOF, definitely still make sure you've got a rebreather and you've got maybe the advanced air tank that will give you a bit more. You can see I've got 135 O2. Pretty much head to life pod number 17. This is one of the story and missions and markers that opens up really early in the game, so you shouldn't have too much trouble finding it, and it will take you to the grassy plateau, an area filled with all this red grass. You can go ahead and obviously explore the life pod itself, get the story parts that you need, as well as look around for any other resources or scannable items. But what we're here for today is the diamonds, and right next to it you can see this great big hole in the sea floor, and that's where you're going to be going to get some diamonds. So like I said, you can take the CMOF down here, and if you're really quick you can do this without the CMOF, but you're pretty much going to have to rely on a little bit of RNG and just swim all the way down, grab a couple diamonds and then swim all the way back up. This is the Jelly Shroom Cave. It's pretty large. Again, you will be back here for some more story segments later on. And even if you have got a CMOF, you can't bring it below 200 meters unless you've got the depth module. So you've got to be a bit careful. But you can see I've got some deposits, and the first one from that shale outcrop was a diamond. This is how you get diamonds. There's lots of other resources down here, lithium, and just a whole host of story content. So you probably will need to make sure you get the upgrade for the CMOF so that you can go deeper, or at least maybe build a base. That's why I've got the habitat builder in my hands. You can actually build a temporary base here, just a 1 pod place, and then literally go and explore, come back to it, and make sure you always enter it. If you happen to die, you'll respawn back at your base. So what you could do is build a little base, explore the Jelly Shroom Caves, grab all the resources, all the story segments, and then make sure you go back into that tiny little outpost. Once it's saved, when you die, you obviously always respawn at the last place that you were in. So as long as you've dropped off all your items in some lockers nearby or inside the base, you should be able to go and just gather all your stuff. The secret after that is to go ahead and dismantle that little base before you depart completely. It's a great way to make sure you get plenty of resources, although you can come back here with the prawn suit, as there are some larger deposits that you might want to try and get hold of. If Life Pod 17 hasn't actually popped up for you yet, well, you probably don't even need diamonds. You definitely need to progress in the game a little bit more first. Next up, we're going to be going towards the Aurora. Now for this one, you're going to need a radiation suit. So that's why I left it second, because actually the Jelly Shroom Cave, although it seems quite difficult without a CMOF, you can do it. Whereas this, you definitely need the radiation suit before you go here. Otherwise you will get attacked by radiation. But pretty much swim towards the Aurora. Make sure you've got it all equipped. Try not to go too far to the right hand side or all the way around to the left hand side. There are leviathans, the big scary creatures. You'll notice you're on the edges of that red grassy plateau as well. There's a few little chasms here. Plenty of resources, plenty of things to go and scan and find. But again, we're here just for the diamonds. Once you hit the sandbanks, you're going to go along the left hand side, and you kind of want to find the edge of the sandbanks as it dipped into a brand new biome. You can see the edge of it here is popping up, and below us should be the mushroom plateau or the mushroom forest. Big glowing fungi, and all along these walls you're going to find more of the shale, and so a chance to find diamonds, as well as obviously get other resources like gold and lithium. You'll also find lithium growing on its own along these side parts too. There are some dangers. Be careful you don't delve too deep into the mushroom forest, but generally you should be okay. As long as you stick to the edges here, you'll get plenty of options and chances to get the shale and then hopefully get some diamonds. This would be the number way to get diamonds, but as I said, you do need that radiation suit. So if for some reason maybe you haven't already crafted it or got to that stage, then yeah, it would be extremely difficult to get this. The only downside is that you have to wear the radiation suit helmet, and so that means you can't go deeper than 100 meters without starting to lose a lot more oxygen. But again, as long as you've got the CMOF, it shouldn't be an issue, and even without the CMOF, this is perfectly doable. You can even find diamonds just on the top of it as well. This is the haul that I got just from that one trip to the Aurora or nearby on the sandbanks and the mushroom forest. And third, and probably the more difficult version, there's probably other places to get diamonds, but I still think this is quite straightforward. If you look around the horizon, you'll notice there's a little bit of a fog, a little bit of a mist patch. That is actually hiding an island there. It's part of the main story. You have to go there to do certain things, which I'm not going to spoil, and it is quite a distance away, so you may want to take the CMOF with you. Again, if you really wanted to, and you really wanted to get a diamond to have a cutter, maybe you've not been able to find any other locations, or you just want more diamonds, then heading towards this place is one of the best shots. As long as you stay close to the surface, you should be perfectly safe. There are some locations or spots nearby that have leviathans as well as some other deadly enemies. There is one more island that you need to go, spoilers. That's kind of got more side story elements, stuff that you will need to go to, but this is like the main story beat that you'll have to go through. You will be directed here by the radio signals, so it might be worth waiting until then. But it's just worth telling you guys that, yeah, you will have plenty of chances to get more diamonds. One of the dangers is these guys. They pretty much will come out and they look like, I don't know, scary aliens underneath the water. You know, the xenomorphs. They'll pretty much teleport you outside of your CMOF and then obviously try and grab hold of you or do damage to you. But you should be okay. You can swim straight back to your CMOF, get inside it and then just swim away. It does do some damage to you, but it's more annoying than anything else. So once you're in, go and find the land where it starts coming up and you can actually get onto the island. Apologies about it being pitch black. For some reason my gameplay is really super dark compared to me actually playing it. It's much lighter than this. The dangers on the land here are the jumping crabs. You can get rid of them with a swipe of your knife or two, or use the propulsion cannon, which is probably best. But all over this island you will find shell outcrops and hopefully a chance to get diamonds. Particularly there is a cave that you can go inside and it's got an underwater section, a little small opening there where you can also find some more resources. So yeah, definitely come here, and as you can see I've got plenty of diamonds from this haul. Just a little FYI as misinformation as well, if you read the wiki for Subnautica, it may still list, or you might have come across guides that list there's big huge deposits of diamonds that you can harvest with maybe the prawn suit. That is not true. I think they ended up removing that, so the only way to get diamonds now is by finding the small deposits. I think you can find them growing on the ground on their own without actually being in shale, but I've yet to come across that in my little playthroughs. Hope this video has been helpful. If it has, leave a like. Check out the rest of the guides. If it's Xbox, PC, it's all pretty much good as long as it's Subnautica. And I'll see you rat bags later.